I sense something. No. I sense someone. Can you see me? Can you feel anything? Or do you just hear my voice? Of course we can't talk. You're asleep. I feel you. You're trembling. You're scared. Don't worry, I'm no sleep paralysis demon. You're still trembling. Well, my manners. I forgot to introduce myself to you. Well, my name is... Well, I don't have one. Well, I will say, I'm no sleep paralysis demon. Well, if from what I've heard, sleep paralysis, people who experienced it say they will awake during their sleep. Imagine a pitch black room. You're laying down on your back. You wake up. You see things. Your room, your door, your windows, curtains, the lights are off. But you're awake. You can barely move your eyes from left to right, up, down. But you can move your arms, your legs, nor your head. You're just firmly stuck in that position. In some cases, people do say they see an entity or hear them while they're in their sleep paralysis state. They hear footsteps on the first floor. They hear noises in the stairs, tippy-taps of feet. Someone rushing down the hallway. Or the feeling of heaviness in the chest area. And seeing a black entity in front of them. A lot of cases they say it is an old woman facing you with long hair. Well, one thing is for sure, you can't see me. In that case, that I'm not a sleep paralysis demon, am I? I'm not making this better for you at all, am I? Well, it's hard to introduce myself because I have no name, but just imagine in this pitch black darkness that you can only feel when you close your eyes. I am an entity, you should say, of sleep. I sometimes venture into people's dreams, or in the state of rest, such as yours, just resting, closing your eyes, about to fall asleep, and then you just hear a voice like mine pop out of nowhere. First thing, apologies. I may be interrupting you, but it just happens. Well, my existence, imagine that a person from a long time ago. A person who studied sleep. Quite intriguing. Everyone, every human, every living thing on this planet needs it. Imagine a car battery, or any battery, that needs charging. Imagine that. It's kind of like that if you imagine it, but it's not that simple. They say it's to cleanse your head, the place where your memory is stored. When you're awake, all information clutters your head, your brain. I forgot what it's called. I'm no neuroscientist. And when you sleep, it gets filed up neatly and not in a pile of paper. Putting every information into a folder, like place, things you have to learn, your chores, or what you were studying a couple of hours ago. It all neatly put in a folder for you to pull out when you need it. That's why people say, rather than cramming everything at midnight, you'd rather do a little bit of studying every day and sleep early so you can manage your memories. But anyway, the man or the person that studied sleep itself, man, woman, doesn't matter, that person eventually died to the study itself, died in their sleep, and then they manifest in everyone's sleep instead. That is me. And also, I manifest using that person's imagination. I am hearing myself as the thing you imagine me to be. Maybe you're imagining a demon. In a suit, with a top hat, with grayish red skin, with horns, trying to make a deal with you in exchange for your soul. Maybe with this weird accent that I have that I usually don't. It just happens. It depends on the person. Oh, you're pretty rare. Well, you can talk a bit. That never happened ever since that one time, a long time ago as well. You think I'm too scary? No. My voice is too deep. Too deep for you. Oh. It reminds you of a certain boss in a game. Wait, don't give me hints. Let me try to feel it. Oh, now I understand. Well, you've played that particular game that's pretty popular. I see you've played Elden Ring, have you? I guess you can't get that snake off your head. Try to remember the name of the said boss. Is it Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy? Is that what you were thinking? when you heard my voice and my grounds. Well, let me try to reenact that for you and give you some nightmare. Very well. You join the Serpent King as family, and together we shall devour the very gods. Sorry if that was a bad impression, but, well, I've seen your memories of Sid Boss from you. That is an unforgettable smile, no face, and tendrils of arms. Yes, I will never forget that. Disgusting pile of flesh. You want to hear a different voice? Well, what type of voice do you want to hear then? Something more calming than my voice. Well, I can see it's a bit scary. Or a little bit unsettling for you. Sure. A little more high-pitched. More non-menacing voice. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. How about this? A little bit more high-pitched than you like? Or is it perfect for you? Better. That's good. So, well, back to my identity. As I said, the story of a person who studied the art of sleep. The art, well, stasis. The person who acted on no action, who died in sleep to manifest in someone else's dreams and slumber. Well, that is a complete, utter lie that's been spread around, and I'm not such a person. I'm merely a person like you, who is alive and well, and I sometimes have just the innate ability to connect with someone when they're sleeping. This is really rare for me. I just made up that whole story of an ancient entity who's, you can say, a sleep demon. But you can still say that I am. Well, I've also played Elden Ring myself. Such an interesting game, such as the Soul series. But well, a little change is much better than changing everything, isn't it? Having a, well, you can say, for a game that is Dark Souls, adding a little bit, but having the base as hard as concrete is probably the best for that franchise, isn't it? Compared to other ones where in the sequels, they got so many different aspects to the game, it's not even close to the original, and it feels weird. But whatever. Today, I just want, if you are a fan of said game, literally thinking of my deeper voice as Rykard. I'm sure you're a person who is interested in the lore of Elden Ring too, are you? You are, as expected, and what did you say? Change my voice to a different one again. You're very needy, a needy person, aren't you? Sure, let me try again. And it's probably your last request for tonight. Okay, so the lore of Elden Ring. What do you like about it? The mystery, the connecting of the dots from point A to point B. It's not that simple. It's like a spider web of lore. And it's massive. Imagining one strand of silk is literally 5 pieces of items in the game as item descriptions. That's how vast and huge the lore, the story of Elden Ring is, and also with the entire Soul series. So, do you want to know a little bit of, said demigod / Empyrean brother Malenia, Miquella the Unalloyed? If you are, I'm also interested, as Gideon Ofnir is also. Forgot the sir. So, if you want to know more about Miquella, let's go for the basics, shall we? Well, Miquella, is the brother of Malenia. You can say twins. And they are Empyreans, meaning born from a single god. Which, as if you were reading the lore and the item descriptions, there's three Empyreans. Three Empyrean demigod children that Marika has. Two of them are Mikula and Melania. And the last one is Luna, Princess Rani. At first I got stuck on that because the lore said Rani was the daughter of Radigan and Ranala of the full moon, but she is actually an Empyrean, which gets confusing. So what I thought is Rani is actually the daughter of Ranala. No, scratch that, that's a mistake. Rani is actually the daughter of Marika and Radigan, but the adoptive mother is Ranala. That's why she calls her mother instead of Marika. And that would tie to her Empyrean bloodline. Well, enough of that. Mikula as an Empyrean, the same as, well, Melania, are born as twins, and like the children of Godfrey and Marika, they are both cursed, like Morgoth and Morg, or Morgwyn. Mikula is born with the curse of eternal youth, while Melania is cursed with scarlet rot within her. We know a bit more about, well, not Marika. As I said, I'm the same entity as you, living like you. And I manifest in your dream, but I also become sleepy. So if I make mistakes, well, you'll understand, don't you? Well, we know a lot more things about Melania than Mikula. Oh, you want me to go back to my deep voice? I'll make this an exception. Well, I guess I'm back. So we know more about Melania than Mikula. But we know one thing. In the armor description of Melania says Mikula is, you can say, the most fearsome demigod of all. Well, that's very vague. And in the opening cutscene of Elden Ring itself, we see Morg carrying Mikula in his arms. And you look at that, and can you imagine that tiny, youthful, well, Mikula can be fearsome in any way? How can you think of such thing? Such a tiny, well, frame can do harm. Well, I can imagine a few things why Mikula is so feared in the eyes of Melania. Well, in item descriptions in the game says that Mikula has a unique ability to charm those around him, aka, well, anime protagonist powers. literally any female character in his, show will become obsessed with him. Pretty much that's what his ability is. And because of that, Mikola can control people, do whatever he likes to. And imagining that is quite terrifying. And also, his intellect is quite a fearsome one as well. While Malenia is, you can say, the blade of Mikola, she is undefeated until a unnamed tarnished said and did so. She was undefeated. Therefore, she fought Radahn to a stalemate. Both technically in a draw, ends with a draw. So, with Mikola, what is his specialty? Imagine a swap to a anime fantasy type setting of there is a character that's a knight and there's a character that's a sorcerer. Normally we'd imagine the Chad dude being the knight and the female character being the sorcerer. But in this case it's swapped. Malenia is the blade who fights with a sword, while Mikola is the one who studies the arts of magic, incantations, pretty much the swap. Role reversal. And so, as they are both cursed, Mikola was really caring to Malenia. He tried and tried and tried to find ways to cure her sister's rot, forming not the Golden Order, but what was it called again? The Golden Order. The word escaped me. The Golden Order. The Golden Order Fundamentalists, I think, is the association that Mikola made. Their incantations, if I remember, needed intelligence and faith, respectively. And a lot of their incantations are meant to cure ailments and healing. The reason for that is Mikola is making those incantations, experimenting, trying to find a way to cure his sister. But eventually, whatever he tries does not work. And then, in the description of the Way of White Corona looking incantation, this was an incantation of the Golden Order fundamentalists that Mikola created, not for healing nor curing, but for offensive reasons. It's effective to those who are undead. It's pure, holy magic. He has given this to his father, Radagon. And he is thinking, if I give him this, maybe he can make an incantation that can probably heal my sister. But Radagon gave Mikola an unexpected gift. It closely resembles his white disc incantation, but it's not a throwable disc. It is a disc that comes from the body of the caster and spreads out like a huge ring from the center, and then it expands. So it's another offensive incantation, an unexpected gift from his father, and he was disappointed. He would have thought that his father might create an incantation that might heal his sister, something else he didn't want. So at that point, Mikola has, well, left the Golden Order fundamentalists and created his own league. That's when. So when he left the Golden Order fundamentalists, he thought he might make another faction different to the Earth Tree and the Golden Order. He is the one responsible for creating the Halig Tree, or Halig Tree, sprouting, planting a little seed to bloom into a huge tree, and for nourishment he used his own blood to nourish the tree in growing to become the Halig Tree we know today. And so, and then Mikola embedded himself in the Halig Tree and waits for his rebirth, or just trying to find a way for himself to grow, because he's cursed with eternal youth. But while he's in the process of, you could say, metamorphosis inside the cocoon of the not Earth Tree, Halig Tree, Morg, the Lord of Blood, kidnapped Mikola and trying to make him his God. So, the thing we know about Mikola is little. He is a demigod who was born with eternal youth, cannot grow. You might also have seen these statues of Mikola in the snowy area of the map where you light those statues, that I assume they are Mikola. And the statues in the Halig Tree where there's a woman with one arm hugging this boy, I assume it's Mikola and Melania too. Mikola tried to cure resistance rot, but ended in failure, and tried to make his own order at the Halig Tree, but his metamorphosis while in the tree fails. Kidnapped by Morg, offered blood into his cocoon, tainting him, and he never wakes up yet. He has the ability to charm those around him. I remember now descriptions on the enemies in the Halig Tree. Well, their armor says pretty much entranced by Mikola himself, making this slave. That's a complete lie, but you can imagine they are charmed by Mikola, probably Morg as well. We see him, Morg, be very polite and gentle to Mikola, caressing his hand, saying, "You wait here for a moment while I fight this unnamed damn tarnished who ruined our date." Well, Mikola is an enigma. He is one of the demigods, or gods, that we have literally almost close to nothing, or close to no information about, rather other than this cocoon, where we kind of see him, if it is him, and the description of items. We don't maybe in the DLC we might actually find him as a boss. We don't know. I don't know. But I wish we see some bosses as, for example, the one we haven't seen yet, the Gloomed Eye Queen as a boss of some sort, or an entity we can speak to. Or, I don't want Mikola to be a boss, but I just want him to be an entity we can speak to and learn incantations from. Idea for the DLCs. I just want to see Mikola in the flesh, not as a corpse-looking thing inside a cocoon. Well, I think you are going. Well, it looks like you're passing away. Slowly. I feel it. You are getting tired. Slowly and surely losing consciousness. As each breath I take, each word, each mouth sound I do, you're losing it. So I shall bid you farewell. As an entity of sleep, I've enjoyed our conversation, and I wish to meet you again someday. At least we have something in common. And we like Elden Ring. Well, this is a goodbye for now. Hope you have a nice rest and sleep. And don't call me Rykard ever again. I do like the boss fight itself, the design of the boss, but calling someone a god-eating snake, there's a sword that's pure gold, looks like it, covered in arms of its victims. Kind of sounds like an insult. So please, call me something else, something more flattering. Like, you look like Hugh. At least he's a nice person who just does his job. Well, that is it. Good night. Well, see, an old saying from my family. Told by